Muslims hate this menace of terrorism as much as any other place. It is our duty to keep this country, our country, beautiful country, safe. We have always thought of that way. We will continue to do our part to keep it safe and beautiful. What he cites in the name of Islam and all that, that is not Islam at all. I wish somebody would have put something in his head that these are terrorists, these are criminals, these folks have nothing to do with Islam.
From CNN State of the Union yesterday, that is Khizr Khan, the father of the fallen Muslim American, continuing his war of words with Donald Trump. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. JD and Steve tag teaming it, inviting you to join us via telephone at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Hey, Steve, you know, you listen to Mr. Khan, an attorney, and certainly we understand his loss, but to somehow try to divorce terrorism from Islam in some nature, it is, after all, Islamic terror. So the point he was making, rather emotionally, I think a lot of people would take issue with.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that a majority of Republicans in state after state after state during the primaries favored Donald Trump's plan to, whatever you want to call it, ban Muslims, ban some Muslims, ban Muslims from countries that have terrorism as a problem. It's morphed, and they overwhelmingly support him. I just want to make a note. Paul Bedard of what the Washington Examiner reports that Khizr Khan's website says he helps clients with E2 and EB5 visa programs. And these are very controversial programs where people put up big money on behalf of these people to let them into the country. So, I mean, I think it's fair game. Certainly, I'm not accusing him of anything. I mean, he's been accused of being a Muslim Brotherhood plant. I know nothing about that, but I think it's fair game to see what his political leanings are, his political beliefs are, and if he has an agenda at all. Again, he loses that protective status, if you will. I criticize John McCain all the time. John McCain is more of a hero than this gentleman. His son was a hero, and he's a Gold Star family member, but once you open yourself up, like I said, to politics and put yourself in the middle, then you don't have hands-off kid glove treatment anymore.
Let's go to the phones. Second caller, Steve, from Arizona, interestingly enough. From
I'll tell you.
It's some sort of connection here. From Glendale, Arizona, we're joined by Scott. Hello, Scott.
Good evening,
Hey, Scott.
Mr. Hayward and Steve. Greetings from Arizona.
Good to know friends in Glendale are watching. What's on your mind, Scott?
Well, my whole thing is this. When are the Democrat people going to wake up and find out that Hillary Clinton is such a liar, and that if she was other than a Democrat, she would be told you can never run again or anything else from any kind of public office because you're disqualified from anything because you're such a liar? I don't understand why they go around. It's been publicly shown that she's a total liar.
Scott,
there was a whole thing today.
Not only do the Democrats not care, the Republican leadership in this country doesn't care. They should have been out there. Dick Morris related a story to us earlier about how she lied about this handicapped girl in Massachusetts in the 70s. That was out in the Boston, I think he said Herald or Globe. I know they're two different papers, but Republicans saw that. I saw that. Dick saw that. Where's Paul Ryan? You know what Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell and all the rest of the Republican leadership was doing over the weekend? Blasting Donald Trump on his Muslim program and blasting him on what he said about this Khan guy. That's what the Republicans... So the Republicans don't care she's a liar. How could you expect the Democrats to care that she's a liar?
And the other point is that we just mentioned to you, Scott, the Democrats decided she was going to be the candidate. And with the inside help of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the now departed Democrat National Committee chairman, they gamed the system, stacked the deck against Bernie Sanders, and Vice President Biden didn't get into the race. The Democrats have decided that Hillary is going to be the commander-in-chief, and let's just be honest about this. in the Democrat scheme of things, they think by putting Mrs. Clinton in office, it checks off another box. They can say it's the first woman president. When you take a look at a public record that despite the former First Lady's insistence that she has been involved in public service, well, there are some things in that record, Steve, that are less than service-oriented.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. And, you know, the real scary thing is, of course, and she talked about it over the weekend again, the Supreme Court, and how she thinks every one of our rights, she told Chris Wallace, every single one is open to reasonable limitations, and she will decide what's reasonable through her Supreme Court appointees, and we're in big trouble.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's get another perspective on this as we're pleased to be joined by Jonathan Tobin. Jonathan is the senior online editor of Commentary Magazine. He joins us tonight via Skype from Philadelphia. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. JD tag teaming with Steve on the Steve Malzberg Show.
Great to be with you guys.
So let's talk about the ongoing controversy, the whole thing with Trump and Mr. Khan, and yet we are seeing more problems for Hillary. More reports on her breaches of trust. Dick Morris was just on with us saying that her claims of going door to door in New Bedford, Massachusetts are completely false, and it doesn't seem those stories get picked up. Why not?
Well, you know, listen, the key for Hillary Clinton to win is to just talk about Donald Trump and the things that he says. The key for Donald Trump is to talk about Hillary Clinton. Every time she opens her mouth, she digs herself deeper, as we saw over the weekend with her just gobsmacking denial about what the FBI director said. She can't help herself. That's what she does. As far as the media, obviously the mainstream liberal media is going to be the mainstream liberal media. Donald Trump knows this. The Republicans know this. The question is, you know, how much, who's the focus really on? And, you know, Trump, by getting into it with the cons over the weekend, again, he stepped into it. Obviously, his fans won't care because they don't care what he says. As he rightly said, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, they wouldn't care. But for the rest of America, it was an unforced error. You don't get into arguments like that. And it distracted him from what he should be talking about, which is Clinton and her lies and her liberal policies, which are not going to be what many Americans want.
And here's the thing, Mr. Tobin. I look, if I were the nominee, and that would have meant that I had all the popularity and I made it the way Trump made it. If I were the nominee, okay, let alone any one of the other 16, I think I could win. Because night after night, JD and I sit here, probably JD could win better than me because he's been through it. And we talk about, we know how to say it. We know how to express it. We know what to focus on. We could point out what a liar she is. We could point out what a fraud and a criminal she is. We could do it. We do it every night. Trump can't do it so far. And from what I hear, he just doesn't listen to the people. By the way, where's his sons and his daughter lately? We need them out there. He needs them out there. It's nobody but Trump, and he's not getting the job done.
Steve, Trump is Trump. We have been following him. You and I, we've talked about this before. It's over a year. He's not going to change. He's going to be himself. Now, being Trump was good enough to win the Republican nomination, which was an incredible feat. You know, just an electoral miracle. I mean, just unprecedented. But is it good enough to win a general election? I'm frankly skeptical. As weak as Hillary Clinton is, as much as she keeps digging herself into problems, as much as her platform, which is, you know, tilted to the left, and her convention was for the left, if Trump keeps being Trump in ways that really speak to presidential temperament, I mean, he was trolled here. I mean, as much as Trump usually trolls other people, what happened here was that the Democrats put on this family, just as Republicans put on Mrs. Smith, the Benghazi victim's mother. And, you know, I can imagine the conversation that Democrats were saying, you know, the people in the Clinton machine saying, will he be stupid enough to fall for this and to attack the cons? You know, and the guy who said yes, you know, give him the gold star because he was right. Trump was dumb enough to get into a fight that no politician, doesn't matter what the situation. Well, I see people on the
I agree, but he could have fired at him. He hasn't talked about the disrespect for the police that they showed at the convention. He hasn't talked about the sexist, homophobic, racist, bigoted emails from the DNC. He hasn't talked about Hillary appointing Debbie Wasserman Schultz as honorary chairman. None of that has been talked about. The media won't talk about it unless he puts it out there. I just think he has to do better.
Well, he's the candidate. It's on him. There are no handicaps here. We're not playing golf. It's not horseshoes. It's not close. It's a matter of, does he get the job done?
The only handicap, gentlemen, is time. 98 days left in the campaign, 30 seconds left now. Jonathan, our thanks to you Skyping in from New York. Steve, stay right there. And before we head to break, we wanted to take a moment to welcome our viewers joining us tonight on the Jewish Life Network. Welcome. It is so good to have you with us watching the nighttime programming here on Newsmax TV. When we come back, Brent Badowski, proud liberal and Hill columnist, with his thoughts. We'll mix it up.